Did you ever wonder why transitions are good for your horse's back and what they do anatomically? This video will hopefully give you an answer to those questions. But before we get it started, I'd like to point out that I'm a rider in progress. I make mistakes and I don't always react perfectly to every situation. But I'm working on it. Let's get it started with a brief input on anatomy. When you do a transition, the horse has to use its lumbar and croup muscles, as well as its abdominal muscles. Why is that good for its back? Every rider's goal is to lift up the back of the horse. But how do you get there? As you know, there are two motion centers. The front center includes the chest-neck region, and the back center the pelvis, haunches, and tail. To lift up the back, the horse has to push up the frontal motion center and rotate the rear motion center downwards. This way, the horse's muscles lift up its back and the hind legs can step under the center of gravity. Professionals also refer to this as positive body tension, because this muscular tension helps the horse to transmit the movement fluently from the hindquarters to the forehand. The lifting and turning of the motion centers requires a lot of force. For the backwards rotation of the pelvis and consequently the stepping under of the hind legs, the horse needs to use its abdominal, lumbar and croup muscles. These are the same muscles the horse trains when doing certain transitions. And exactly that's the reason why there is such an excellent back training. Another reason why transitions are very good for the back of your horse is because the long back muscle, also called longissimus dorsi, gets loose. In every gait, this muscle works differently. If you now do a transition, the muscle changes the way he is contracted and this makes him loose. So let's take a look at what happens when you do a transition. In a transition to a higher gait, like for example a trot canter transition, the horse builds up motion energy with the inner front leg that pushes up the horse, and then the inner hind leg steps under and pushes the horse forwards to gain even more motion energy. In a transition to a lower gait, like trot walk or canter trot, the horse has to collect all the motion energy to change out of a big movement, like the canter, into a less swinging gait, like the trot. Again, the inner leg has to step under, but this time to take away the motion energy and to carry the horse. I will now show you some different varieties of transitions. First of all, there are the easier ones. Walk trot, trot canter, and vice versa. Your horse doesn't have to build up so much motion energy, which means that the muscles don't need as much force as in a walk canter or can't walk transition. Such transitions are harder because the difference between the motion energy that the horse has to build up or collect is bigger. Another possible transition is to move backwards and then change into the forwards movement again. There, the hind legs need to step under even more because they have to push the horse forwards out of a backwards movement. As you can see, that I'm not demonstrating that very well here. I'm pulling too much with the reins and I'm holding my hands up too high. This is not so beautiful. As the transitions are nothing easy to do for your horse, it can be difficult in the beginning. If your horse isn't strong enough yet, it may put its head up high and runs away from the pressure. In this position, the entire weight rests on the forehand. To avoid this uncomfortable situation, you can use a softer version of the transition. Let's take the canter as an example. You can try to do an extended canter and then take the horse back into the collected canter again. This also trains the important muscles and it's easier for your horse to do. Another difficulty is that the rider sits deeply in the saddle throughout the whole transition. Isn't that the case, your horse will put its weight on a forehand and brake abruptly. What helped me was the concentration. If you try to concentrate very well on your seat while doing a transition, you're going to solve this problem, I'm very sure. So that brings us already to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to learn something. And I wish you a very, very good time with your horse and always believe that you can do it. Because if I can do it, you can do it anyway. Bye!